guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel. I was actually going to film this video outside because it's already a gorgeous day. Arizona doesn't believe in daylight savings time for some reason, so even though I'm leaving super early, like it's 5:11 right now, it's still bright outside. So I was like, oh, what better time to do this? But then when I got outside to film, there was a bee. And then I waited out the bee, like, oh, maybe it'll be fine. I actually put the camera outside and then freaked out and left it. But then I went and retrieved it and was like, okay, there's no bee now, and I saw a freaking wasp. So we're filming inside. It's fine. They were there first. And I got enough of the outside yesterday because I saw the Grand Canyon, y'all, for the first time. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know this, but oh my gosh, it was so cool. Which perfectly brings me into the point of this video, which if you couldn't already tell by the title, it's monthly goal setting and review time. Are we already over a week into May? Yes. That's fine. That feels very indicative to me of how my April went. But instead of starting out with most of my failures, we're gonna harken back to the Grand Canyon in my roam section of my goals. Because if you've watched one of these before, you know I separate things out by read, write, roam, and random other assorted goals. So roaming it is. And the only goal I had for April was to leave on my trip. Done. That's so easy. As of this filming, I've crossed over from Texas to New Mexico to Utah to Colorado and now to Arizona. So that's 5 states I've already been to. And I mentioned I'm up early today, and that's because I'm leaving for Las Vegas, Nevada, my old stomping grounds. And it's the first time that I'm gonna see my mom since I left for my trip, because she's going to be joining me in Vegas and we're going to see Elton John because that was on her bucket list and it perfectly coincided with the time I was gonna be there. So she's not really going to meet up with me. She's going to see Elton. I've also already seen 9 national parks in about 5-ish, big-ish cities. And of course, more on that to come. I am slowly editing my week 1 footage, but y'all, it takes so long because I took so much. Next step is reading, and my goal was to read 4 books in the month, and that's basically just to hit my goal of 50 books in a year for 2018. I read 1 book. Only 1 book. And it was Carrie Fisher's, which I mentioned before in a video, which I will link up above, but 1 book. I am currently listening to The Bells on audiobook, and I'm reading Eleanor and Park on my phone, but it's May now, so that doesn't matter. My other goal for the month was to get some good fiction audiobooks to listen to or read or whatever you want to consider it. And man, y'all came through for me. I had so many recommendations and I'm on the wait list for so many right now. And like I mentioned, I'm listening to The Bells on audiobook, and I have one of Saba Tahir's books already coming up. I got an email about it. So you guys, I have so many books now. Thank you so much. And now onto my writing goals. The first one of which was to win Camp NaNoWriMo, and nope. I did do a whole video on that, which I will link up above. It was the best kind of failure, even though I am still kind of bummed about it, because it again was just that I had so many awesome things happening and I still love the story. I'm still working on the story. So all of those are successes in their own right, but also I only got 11,000 out of my goal of 30,000, and that's still just kind of womp womp. My next goal was to not panic about beta readers, and oh buddy. What a great goal that I could never live up to. I did panic a little bit because that's just, you know, what happens. But even though it's not April, I have started reading my book and I'm already through chapter 10. I just got up to it and there's only 19 chapters, which I fudged a little bit. And the last chapters are super long now because I just didn't split them up from when I was editing the last round. But I don't want to get I don't want to get too excited about things. But it is helping me feel better about what I gave my beta readers, and while there are clearly some things that need to be changed, and clearly, like, you know, the actual writing isn't up to tip-top shape because I'm worrying about that closer to the end, you know, but the story itself I still find really engaging. I have ways to make it more engaging, which is exciting. So anyways, I'm actually less panicked now that I'm reading it myself. That's the moral of this story. The question will be what happens when I am done reading it, which I suspect will be very soon, but I'm not meeting with my beta readers until the very end of May. And if I'm gonna panic in between that time period. My third and final writing goal was for my freelance career, and it was to pick a frickin' date and stick with it. And I did pick a date in the video, and I didn't stick with it. Again, April just had so much going on, and I am gonna use that as an excuse, even though of all the things to excuse on this list of April goals, that one's kind of a lame one because I have stuff ready. I did send it to people to read over before I go and post it out into the void of the internet. But I don't have to do that from when I'm writing for someone else, which is the frustrating part. So it's like now that it's under my name, I'm freaking out, which means that this is entirely fear and emotional based and not at all rational based, because I know I can write. I know I can, you know, finish projects. I know I can do all this stuff, and I know I can do it well enough to keep clients happy. But then when I'm the judge, it's like nothing's ever good enough. That's not great, and I need to get over whatever that is. Oh, that was a lot. I'm gonna have to unpack that at another time, but I'll talk about what I'm planning on doing for that in my May goals. So let's go ahead and move on to my random other goals, which I had none this time because I had a lot going on. So yay, that, you know, you can't fail it if you don't set it up. You can't succeed either, but you know. I'm taking what I can get this month. So if I had to give myself a grade on how I did for April, which I don't really want to do, but like it's one of those things where I feel really good about all of the amazing things that happened in April. You know, even though I failed Camp NaNoWriMo, I love Camp NaNoWriMo. I love the experience of everyone around. And so while I was participating, that was so fun. And then I left on my trip, which was also so fun. And it's like April had all of these amazing things. So I'm looking back on it with such a fondness, even though if I'm looking at it the way that I am right now, it doesn't look like that great. Let's move on to May. For May, we're gonna go back to the normal read, write, roam, random order. So first up is reading. Complete 2 fiction audiobooks. I know you're like, only 2, but I've never actually finished a fiction audiobook before, so I think this is a really good goal, and I'm part of the way through The Bells, which I have read that book before, so I think that's actually helping in some ways to already kind of know the story and listen along. And I think that I just need to get over whatever little mental hurdle this is about fiction audiobooks, and I'm loving it. So I think that one's gonna be a great one to complete first, and I have so many that I'm on waitlist for, so I'm very excited. I definitely think I can get these 2. And then the goal is to hit 2 other books, which I want to be The Coldest Girl in Cold Town, because I am going to be in some big cities the next couple of weeks, with the exception of a little bit here and there. There's going to be a lot less car camping, so I think any kind of creepy stuff won't be as bad. And I also want to finish Bill Bryson's book, which I am loving because it's kind of just like short snippets and essays, and not only am I trying to write more of those, like I mentioned, but they're all about travel, and it's just so fun. So yes, I think I have some great books to read. I always have great books to read, it's just whether I read them. Next up is writing, and my goal is to finish Project Blue. Where is it? I have it sitting on the table over there. I already talked a lot about that, but again, I'm on chapter 10, and there's only 19 chapters, so not only do I think this is gonna be done very soon, but I'm just so excited. The next goal is to continue writing my Scooby Doo meets Princess Bride story that I started during Camp Nano. I have no word count goal other than I'd like to keep it going, just because I don't want to set myself up for failure, because I do have another writing goal that is going to be a little bit more serious and structured in its timeline, and that is to complete the first book in my new adult romance series. And I haven't talked about it a whole lot on this channel, but I did mention it in my 2018 writing goals video. I'm hoping to have 3 completed by the year's end, and arguably if I do it by the schedule that I'm thinking of, it will be a little bit before the year's end so that I can release them towards Christmas time. We will see. This is the first book that I have ever completely plotted out with there being no questions for me. And now naturally I think some questions are going to come up during the writing process, but I know all of the twists and turns, and I don't know if that's because it's a romance, and in some ways romance is like a little bit easier, if only because you know what the end's gonna be, or at least I know what I want my end to be, and that's a happy ending. So I think it's a little bit more structured in the ways you have to get there, and I think as long as I did well on the twists and turns, which I won't entirely know until I'm writing it out and then rereading it, I think I got it down. I think I got this story down. So this whole process is going to be so fascinating. So my goal is to have the fast draft, the first draft, done this month. The 4th writing goal is for my freelance career, and it is to post the articles and essays, at least 2 of them. You know what, based off of what time it is in the month, I'm gonna say just post 1 of them, and I'm going to get it back from my reader very soon, so again, no excuses. There's really nothing. There's no way I can push this back any further, I don't think, and I might just like sit down with myself and like have a little chat. Maybe I'll like write out a diary format and ask myself why I'm so scared this time. I really don't know. If y'all have any advice on that kind of thing, I would love to hear about it. Comment down below. All right, that's all of my goals for the month. Please let me know how you did on your April goals and if you have anything interesting coming up for May, or if you already had something interesting in the first week of May. And then also, what do you tell yourself when you have those months that were really, really good for you personally, but not good at all for any of your goals? I would love to know about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all very soon with a new video. Bye. Well, today I'm going to be going over, Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel. Today it is time for my monthly goal reviews, and I am filming this in, where am I? Flagstaff. Oh my god.